Hi everyone, my name is Michael King. I'm doing a guest spot for Ravel Govinder's YouTube channel, and welcome back to the fifth part in the series on the new features in ES6. Today we're going to be learning about classes. Now on the screen at the moment we've just got an empty file. We're going to write our class in here. Classes is probably one of the features in ES6 that I'm most excited about because I come from a more traditional programming background in things like PHP and Java. So we're just going to build a basic kind of animal class and just add some methods on it just so we can see how it works. So we'll start just by using the class keyword, and we're going to create a class of duck. So we'll start with adding a constructor, which when you instantiate a new class, the constructor is going to be the first method that gets called. So we're just going to do something really basic with this. We're just going to pass in the sound that this duck is going to make. So we'll just pass sound through here, and we're going to set that as a property on the object. So we're going to do this.sound equals sound. So the next thing that we're going to do is just add another method onto this class. So we'll call that quack. So if you should be familiar with how methods work in JavaScript, we're just adding this onto the class. And for this, we're just going to console log this and sound. So we've got a class here, but it doesn't do anything at the moment because we need to instantiate it. And the way you do that is, we'll just type const duck equals new duck. And we need to pass in the sound here because we defined the constructor here is expecting an argument. So we'll just call this sound quack. Cool. Now if we run this code, it won't actually do anything because we still need to call the method. So now we can just do duck.quack and save it, and we see quack in the console. So that's a basic class in JavaScript. What we can also do, as you would probably have suspected, is we can use inheritance as well. So let's create a new type of duck. Let's call this a mountain duck, and we're going to extend the previous duck. So I need to type that properly. So what this does is it inherits all of the methods and properties and stuff that the original duck had, but we've just called it a mountain duck. So if we change this instantiation that we did down here to mountain duck, this should remain exactly the same because we've inherited all of the methods and all of the properties. You can also do things like overriding the constructors, which you might need to do sometimes in your code. So I'll quickly show you what that would look like. So the constructor, the signature is going to be exactly the same as the base class. But we're going to call, because we're overriding this at the moment, it's not going to call the base class constructor because we've overridden it with a new constructor. So to make sure it calls the base class constructor, we're just going to do super and pass in the property. So this should do exactly the same thing if we run it. Yep. But we're also going to add another console log statement here just so we can see that this constructor is doing something different. So we'll log out the sound again. So we should see two quacks here, and we do. And this works for any kind of method. I did it on the constructor, but it works on any method that's on the base class as well. Another cool thing you can do with ES6 classes is getters. And we'll just create one just for the sound property that we've got in this class. So we can do get sound. And then what we'll do is we'll return the sound, but we'll add some more exclamation marks to it. And we'll do that with the little syntax. So we'll do this.sound. And we'll add a couple of exclamation marks. So now down here, what we can do is we'll get rid of duck.quack. We can do console log duck.sound. And what this is going to do is it's going to check whether there's a getter on our class, which there is, and it's going to return the result of this function. But because we're defining a getter here and we are setting the sound in our constructor, we also need to define a setter, otherwise this isn't going to run. And we can do that with a very similar syntax. So we just do set and sound is just going to be the string sound value. So we'll just call it sound value. And we'll just use this.sound equals sound value, which is pretty simple. So if we was to run this code at the moment, it wouldn't work because we're using a sound property here, and we're also using the sound getter. So the sound method is now reserved. So what we'll do to get around that is we'll just use an underscore in front of the variable names here. And what this does is it just implies that it's some kind of private variable. So we need to change that on those two getters and setters, and on basically anywhere that uses this. Cool. So if we run that now, and yep, we see quack with 3 exclamation marks. So getters and setters are just a really good way of just encapsulating your logic for getting and setting property values. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've learned something. Please join me in the next in the series.